I'm live here giving a little quick update. The Apologetics Empire situation that just happened and is basically about over. So if you're just joining me, we just got finished doing a get together with a bunch of apologist YouTubers. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I haven't tested any of this stuff. It's my first time doing anything like this. But we had a bunch of apologist YouTubers get together and we had a really good time just learning how YouTube works, how to get it all. Yep, vocab's here, Sarah's here. Yeah, so it was a really good time. I actually have Mike Winger right next to me. He's gonna pop in for a second. I don't know if you guys can hear him.
Hey guys.
We're here at the airport, just basically waiting to go home right now. And so I wanted to pop on, just answer some questions, any questions you guys have about the Apologetics Empire. And yeah, just share with you a little bit more information about what's going on, because I didn't really get on Facebook or on Twitter or on YouTube explaining what all this is about. So I'll just give a quick rundown. David Wood, Bobby Conway, and a few other people organized this whole event, and they invited out some Christian apologist YouTubers to come out and basically just learn some of the basics from very good YouTubers. It didn't just have to do with atheism or Christianity, but just YouTube in general, how to get better at YouTube. And so that's what we did. We watched a few videos. We learned a lot. I'm going to start implementing some of this stuff into it right now in some of my future content, some of my future videos. So you'll see a few different changes. We learn more about the YouTube algorithm, how it works, things that you need to do, look for change in your content. And so I feel like it was very, very fruitful. The information that we gained here was awesome. It was really, really cool. So I'm really grateful to have been invited to come out here and do this. And this is like a test situation. It wasn't about like, hey, let's invite all the elite Christian YouTubers and keep everyone out. This was more like a test to see how it would go and how we can use this to benefit the kingdom and talk to more people and invite more Christian YouTubers out eventually once we get the hang of it. And we're thinking about doing something like this once a year. That'll all be decided in the future. But we already have some really cool collaboration projects that we were all coming up with, even just as early as last night. We were all sitting together talking about some ideas that we have coming up on Easter. So it was really cool. Just being able to fellowship with these guys and meet a lot of these guys in person. He and I have been talking for months and months, over a year now, I think, about YouTube, and he helped me really, really big time get to where I was. I think he started helping me, and I had about 1,700 subscribers, and now, as of this video, we're at 28,000. So it's crazy growth, and I owe a lot of the insight and everything that's having to him. It says someone's saying that I'm lagging a tad. I think that's just the internet connection here at the airport might not be that great. So apologize about that. Let me pull up the comments here and see what's going on with all the comments. I can't see all of them on the phone, so I'll see if you guys have any questions about what we were doing, the Apologetics Empire, what it means. Any questions that you have at all, I'd be happy to take them. So I'm going to scroll up here and see what I can see. Someone said, you're both amazing. You're talking about me and Mike. I don't know about Mike, but I'm pretty amazing. So he's actually too far to hear me. Someone said, I love the name Apologetics Empire. Yeah, that was David Wood. He came up with it. And I think it's a pretty cool name too. I worry that it's a little cheesy, but I think it's okay. It sort of gets the idea across, is that it's a collaborative effort. It's not just a bunch of Christian YouTubers doing their own thing. This is all about one end goal, and we all have the same thing in mind. And so that's what we want to do. Okay. Someone said, I found you through Mike Winger. What a blessing you guys are. I will be praying for you all. Love from Norway. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's really cool. And if you watch the live stream that we did a couple nights ago, there was about 12 to 13 of us that were all live. And there's a decent audio lag, which sucks. It's like, I think 3 seconds of delay between the video and the audio, but you can get through it. If you can get through it, then you'll be able to see, like, I think 12 to 13 different guys that were invited out here. So if you want to find more of these apologists, go follow them all, go check out that video. It's in the description. And yeah, okay. So someone said I'm not lagging for other people. So it might just be you, Hayden. Someone said go witness to that guy in the background. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Maybe that was way before. Okay, yeah. So someone's saying no lagging. I'm fine. Who said Cameron is crying? No, I think my eyes just look red for some reason. Maybe it's the lighting. I cry all the time though. It's not true. Someone said I don't think the name is cheesy yet. It could be. It can be. Depends on how we market it and how we emphasize it in different ways and on different channels. It can very easily be cheesy, I think. So someone said this much cheese and put a little cheese emoji. So Cam doesn't like it because it doesn't begin with a garam. I don't even know what you mean, vocab. Someone said, when will you guys be doing any street evangelism? I don't have any plans to do that anytime soon. I'm working a lot on the type of evangelism that I do online. But when Tyler McNabb lived in Houston, we were doing a lot. I guess when I say a lot, we went out once, but then we had plans to do more, but then he moved away. Okay, so let me keep going down. Cam, Mike, I love you guys. Love you too, Hagar. Is that Hagar? Hagar Vids? So someone said, Brando said, how long have you been a Christian man? Your wisdom is beyond your years. I really appreciate your videos. Yeah, so that's something I feel conflicted about because I meet all of these guys that have so much more knowledge than me. And it's really humbling to be around them. And it's really fun. It's really fun to learn from them. And that's one thing that I try to do is make sure that I surround myself with people that are smarter than me, more intelligent, know more about the Bible, know more about philosophy. I try to immerse myself in that so that I don't get a big head and I realize where I'm at. And we all have different gifts. We all have a different purpose that we're working on. But I've been a Christian for my whole life. I did go through a period of doubt, but I wouldn't have called myself a non-Christian at that point. It was just a period of doubt that I worked through. And that was a couple years ago. So someone said, I'm at work finishing my break. Thanks for tuning in, Sarah, even though you're on your break. Okay, so which one of your channels would you most recommend for a new believer? New believer, I might actually suggest Mike Winger's channel the most. If you don't know who Mike Winger is, he was just here. He's sitting right next to me eating a chocolate croissant. That's probably one of the people that I would suggest the most is Mike Winger. He talks a lot about theology and biblical topics. So if you want to learn more about Christianity, the basics, and how to think through your faith, Mike Winger is a great choice for new believers. That's a good question. The question was,
thanks, Cam.
The question was, what channel would be best for people to, like, for new believers? What channel would be good? Oh yes, thank you. Yeah, she could have just walked off of it. New believers channel. So I suggested yours, but apart from yours, Alan Parr. Yeah.
I think he's got some real simple content.
We're talking about within the Apologetics Empire.
I mean, I consider him, even though we haven't talked to him or anything, but
right.
Other than that,
I don't know if they can hear you.
Oh, sorry.
We're using headphones.
Yeah, most of the people are doing more advanced content right now. If you're a new believer coming out of Islam, you should watch David Wood's content. If you're a new believer who's interested in philosophy stuff, you should actually check out Captain Christianity, or maybe Sean Hurst. He's doing some more simple breakdowns. If you've come out of like Hebrew roots kind of stuff, you have The Beginning of Wisdom is a good channel you can check out. So it kind of depends on where you're coming from,
I think that's a lot of good recommendations. All right, we'll move on. Someone said, have a safe flight. Thank you. It's kind of windy here, and Mike's flight was actually delayed a couple hours. So that kind of stinks. But he's here. He's able to be on the live stream, so that's really cool. All right, I'm still scrolling up here to see where I left off. I've never done this before on my phone, so it's weird. Okay, so which one of your channels would you most recommend? Hey, I could only find 9 copies of you guys stream when you were live as a group, not the other night, not 12. All of our channels were linked in the descriptions of our videos. So if you want to find, like, maybe they weren't streamed on 12 channels, but all 12 channels were linked in the description. And I think there was 11 actually, but then one of the channels was the one that it was being streamed on. So if you check the description of the video, you can find them all. Someone said, love you, brother, from Indian ex-Hindu. Awesome, man. I like that name too, Messiah Jesus. Epic Christ says, where are you? I'm in the Charleston airport right now, waiting on my flight. It's going to take off in a couple hours. We got here a little early. Someone said, who's your favorite apologist in the Apologetics Empire? Uh, I'm gonna leave that one. I'm not gonna answer that one. Yeah, I don't want to say that I have a favorite because everyone has different things that they're doing and different strengths. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that one alone. Someone said I like the collaboration aspect of the Apologetics Empire. I like it too. It's really cool, and this is not something that I put together. It's something that other people put together and invited me to be a part of. So it's really cool that people are having these ideas and then making them happen. And I had nothing to do with it. It's just really cool. Let me scroll up here in the comments. Am I Catholic? I'm not Catholic. I'm not Catholic. I'm not Roman Catholic. I'll say that. Yeah, he does have a good channel. Mike does have a great channel. The only concern I have from Dr. Wood's original description is that I fear that it could quickly become too geared towards addressing current events. Oh, well, no, it's not going to be that at all. No. What we're doing is we're just implementing different YouTube strategies to make our content that we're already doing better. That's the main goal, is to make all of our channels more effective on YouTube. And so it doesn't have to do with changing our content to be more about current events. In fact, we were talking a lot about making sure that our content is evergreen, so it can be applicable no matter when you're watching it. So if you're covering a current event like a terrorist attack that just happened, that is something that not a lot of people are going to be watching in a couple of years. But evergreen content is content that anyone's going to watch at any time. And most of our content, especially Mike Winger's content, my content, is focused on something that can be watched at any point. Someone said, "Where are my?" Actually, let me scroll up here. Sorry. Okay. If I was in the LA airport, could have bought me a drink. Well, next time I'm in LA, maybe I'll post about it. It says, have you done the Dr. Craig and Dr. Carroll debate review yet? So I was talking with Mike Winger about this yesterday, and as I was studying the transcript in depth and trying to figure out what I was going to put together, it was becoming way too complex, and it was kind of bogging me down. Like I didn't want to do it anymore because it was so complex. And he suggested just doing like 3 points from the debate instead of doing this really long review, just some quick points that would be interesting for people. And so I'm thinking about sort of restructuring the whole video, the script around that. So maybe I'll keep it up, but otherwise I have a lot of other video ideas that I want to do, and I'm going to start focusing on doing regular live streams. I don't know if you guys have checked the community tab, but I was asking you what day you prefer. Was it Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday for a regular live stream at 3 p.m. Central? And everybody pretty much was unanimous in saying that Thursday is the time. So I'm going to start focusing on doing live streams, interviews, discussions as well at 3 p.m. on Thursdays, to where I can plan that all out, have really, really solid content once a week for live streams. So that's what I'm going to be working on. So let me scroll back up here and see if I missed any questions here. Someone said, what are my thoughts on Thomism? So Thomism, I have a sort of a love-hate relationship with. Not so much hate and not so much love, but I like it and I don't like it at the same time. There's elements of it that I really, really like. I like the parts where they get to God's existence, but the parts that I don't like are the non-personal aspect of the God that the Thomistic arguments get you to. I'm a theistic personalist, and that's a position that I hold relatively tentatively. But those are my thoughts on Thomism. I think that Thomists, the people that endorse Thomism, are some of the smartest people that I've ever come in contact with collectively. Like even more than atheists, even more than Christian YouTubers. I think that Thomists, more generally, that collection of people, are some of the smartest people that I've ever encountered. So I have a really high respect for it. Anthony Rowden says, did you like Craig's new video on the problem of those who have never heard the gospel? It's probably one of my favorites out there on the animated videos, but I'm a biased Molinist. So I didn't watch the whole thing. I just knew that it happened, and I sent it out to everybody because we were so busy. We were so busy doing 1,000 things every day. It was crazy. It was crazy. Someone said, where's IP at? IP is on a plane back to, he lives in Arizona? So he's on a plane. That's where he's at. And we took different flights. His flight was out this morning. So Mike is the only one here with me right now. Someone said, why do you think that there's a lot of ministry leaders that wear black square framed glasses? Haha, is just my demographic. I don't know. I don't wear any glasses. I just have cool hair. So I can't answer that question. Amanda says, it was great meeting you last night. Thanks for the tech advice. It was awesome to meet you, Amanda. I'm really glad that you guys were there, and it was fun to talk shop for a minute about technical stuff. Although it can get really frustrating when the technology fails. I'm really thankful right now that this iPhone stream is doing good. Someone teach David Wood how to use a computer. That's actually a really good comment because he is like really bad with technology. I'm learning. Someone said, any updates on the conference thing? I'm not sure what you mean by conference thing. Maybe you mean there's a YouTubers conference we were planning for April that may or may not happen. I don't know any of the details there. Mitchell says, can you briefly overview each one of your channel's purpose? I know you all have different gifts and areas of emphasis. Thank you for all you do for the kingdom. I can't do that in this live stream, Mitchell, but watch the video. I'm thinking about cutting that video, splicing the audio and making sure that it syncs and then re-uploading it. Someone suggested doing that. I might do that. But go watch that video and you can get an overview of everyone and go follow all their channels. So it's in the description, not in the description of this video, but it's in my videos, my archive. So just go to my channel, subscribe to my channel, and then go check out the video. Someone said, Dave said, love both of your works, still about Mike Winger. It'd be great to get some interviews with experts at prophecies. I love your interview style and Mike's reputations of Aaron Ra. Yeah, so Mike and I were actually talking about how he kind of wants to go real deep into the apologetic arguments from prophecy and how it hasn't really been done yet at a real deep philosophical level. So we were talking about that and some ideas there. So look out for Mike's stuff on that. He might actually start to produce some new content there over the next several years. Okay, someone said, I'm so bored, help me. I'm right here, bruh. I'm live streaming literally right now. Someone said, eternal conscious torment. I don't lean toward that view. I lean toward the annihilationist view for biblical reasons, but I'm completely open to the traditional view, completely open to it. I don't think there's any philosophical problems with it at all. I think it makes sense of morality and everything on a Christian view. So my only concerns with it are biblical. Mitchell says, what are the core tenets, beliefs that all of you guys have? Would you just be open to RCs on there, or is this just Protestant? I'm open to it. I'm very ecumenical, but I don't know how ecumenical the other guys are. I think ecumenicism, is that a word? I think that's really important. And so I would be open. I would certainly be open to it. Kitab says, what do you think about Islam? So I did a little study on Islam. I haven't done a whole lot. I read a couple books, listened to a couple books by a really, really good scholar. I actually forget his name, but it was really good. He gave a really good introduction, and I'm learning a lot about Islam, but it's not my main area of study at all. There's other apologists for that, like David Wood. Okay, let me scroll up here. What are your opinions, thoughts on John Lennox, my favorite, and the late Chuck Meisler? So I don't know who Chuck Meisler is actually. Meisler? John Lennox I like a lot. There's other philosophers that I like as well. But John Lennox, he has a way about him that is just very Christ-like and very winsome. And I think that if everybody emulated that, we'd all be a lot better off. But he's just, yeah, he's a really good dude. Someone says, praying you'll encounter someone who needs a gospel conversation on a plane. Maybe so. I actually have a lot of work to do on the plane, so we'll see what God has in store. I haven't even set up for the debate tonight between Phaser and Oppie, so I need to do a couple things, just getting the live stream ready and all that. But it's not a big deal. Everything's pretty much ready to go. Ryan says, I have a question. If God was omnibenevolent and omnipotent and omniscient, why would he let Adam eat the tree knowing that it'll cause sin on others? That's a good question. It sounds like the question is, if God knew all this bad stuff was going to happen, why did he let it happen anyways? So the quick answer is that he has a reason to let it happen. And so there's different ways that you can look at that. One of the reasons for suffering, one of the main answers, someone's yelling over here. Maybe they're excited about this answer I'm about to give. Free will is one of the more common answers to suffering and why God would allow suffering in the world. I think that's sort of what you're getting at. Sin in the world is kind of suffering. And anyway, so free will, there's a lot of different theodicies, different reasons that God would have to permit the suffering in the world. But that's where we would go with that. Andrew T says, I'm going to major in philosophy just to debate you guys. Cool. Sounds Sounds like an interesting goal to set for that. All right, Marty Ma says thoughts on theistic evolution. Completely open to it. I think biblically as well, we should be open to it. I'm not convinced that theistic evolution is true. I'm more agnostic about the whole situation. But I do think that the Bible does not commit us to a young earth view. So that's sort of where I sit on that. Someone said, okay. So there's some trolling going on in the comments. It's difficult to see. So Russell Jones, what's up, Russell? It's good to see you, buddy. He says, any major disagreements among the other participants? Were there any disagreements between us? Were there any disagreements between the empirists?
About what?
I don't know. He just says, were there any major disagreements?
We disagree on all kinds of things, but I don't think we had any major disagreements.
We disagree on some internal things. There is a disagreement, if you want to call it a disagreement, on methodology, like how controversial is your channel going to be? Because that's actually a big sort of marketing or selling factor for content online, is how controversial it is, how polarizing it is. So some people are okay with that, whereas others are not okay with that. But that's more of like a personal choice you make with your channel. And so with my channel, I don't really do a whole lot of that. And I'm still, I don't think I'm going to go down that route. All right, I'm still scrolling up here. Do you believe in the 5 solas? I'm not sure. Why do Christian philosophers like Richard Swinburne reject the moral argument? That's a good question, because obviously I know that he rejects it, but I'm not sure the reasons why he does so. Maybe he thinks that because God has obligations, it can't be grounded in his nature. He does think that God has moral obligations, but I'm not sure. So other philosophers like Eric Wielenberg, he's an atheist philosopher. He rejects it because he has a different. Yes, Russ just he just sent me a text message and it screwed me up in my line of thought. But he thinks that atheistic moral Platonism is like a viable alternative to theism, or like divine command theory. Sorry, let me scroll back up here. It's really difficult to follow these comments on this. It's like ridiculously difficult. Any super chats that you guys do, by the way, is very, very appreciated. I've seen a couple here, and I'll continue to acknowledge them as we come in. Does God want us in hell? I would say, obviously, no. Obviously, he wants to be with us. It's our choice, though, whether or not we wind up in hell. It's completely our choice. C.S. Lewis said that the gates of hell are locked from the inside. I think that is very extremely profound. We keep ourselves there. We put ourselves there, and then we keep ourselves there. Nate Lawrence, Capturing Christianity. Chuck Meiser was a businessman with a Navy background who had always had taught Bible studies on the side and made Fiona House his full-time ministry later in life. That's cool. Yeah, I still haven't heard of him. That's cool. If you're going to have a real Apologetics Empire, then you simply must include Rob of the Deflating Atheism channel. I guess, is that you? It says G Will, but it sounds like that's him. But what greater good could God have for allowing so much evil? So there's a question of greater good, and greater good sort of assumes that you've got to have this sort of trade-off situation where the good consequences have to outweigh the badness. And so it almost assumes this framework where you're talking about consequentialism and how the consequences of the goodness, the good reason that God has, is sort of worth all the bad stuff that happens. Here's a classic example. Suppose that you want to save 5 lives of people, and in order to do that, you have to kill somebody and harvest their organs. You have to kill one person, harvest their organs, and in the process, you save 5 people. A consequentialist would say that's the right thing to do because the consequences are so good, they outweigh the badness of killing that one person and taking their organs. And so if we assume a kind of consequentialist theory like this, then there are goods on offer that can outweigh the suffering in the world. And one of them, my favorite, is called the soul building Theodicy. So with a lot of the suffering that happens in the world, the suffering that provides the opportunity to exercise certain goods like forgiveness, goodness, charity, compassion, sacrifice. If you think about it, if you really sit down and think about it, a lot of these goods cannot be had without intense suffering. So that's one of the reasons that God would have. But again, it sort of assumes this consequentialist framework where you're sort of getting this good out of all of this bad stuff. But if you reject that framework, then the problem of evil almost completely evaporates. And I did a discussion or an interview with the guy named Justin Mooney on this very topic. So search my channel, Justin Mooney, Problem of Evil. It'll pop up immediately. And it was a really fun discussion, really enlightening. So we had another super chat from Russell. He said, "Oh man, that was fun. I'm laughing like a lunatic in my car." Stop it, Russ. Stop it. What is my favorite flower? That is a weird question. I'm not going to answer that one. What qualifications or background do you need to be able to debate on capturing Christianity? You need to pass the very arbitrary criteria of catching my attention. What are the properties of that which was sacrificed? I have no idea what question that is. What do you think about the late R.C. Sproul and Albert Mohler? Albert Mohler is not late. He's here. He's still alive. I would recommend you check out their lectures. God bless. Yeah, Albert Mohler's he's really good. He reads like a book or two a day. It's ridiculous. He's really cool. Marvel or Star Wars? Both. Both. Why do I have to choose? Capturing Christianity. Which soteriological stance do you take? Are you Calvinist, Arminian, or traditionalist? I don't know what categories you're trying to put traditionalism in, but I lean toward Molinism. I don't think we can know the side of eternity, what all the good reasons are for evil, but free will is one spiritual growth characteristic. Yeah, I think we can know some of the goods that are made possible through suffering. One of the goods is one of the best goods is what I call soul building, character building, where your character, you're actually the source of your development. So that's one of the things that free will provides the opportunity for, is that you are literally the source of your change in character. Without free will, it's not you that's doing it. It's the antecedent causal conditions that are causing all of the good things that are happening in your character, all the good changes. So with free will combined with these goods, we can see a very, very good reason that God would have to permit suffering in the world. And also, you've got to combine soul building. You've got to combine all of these theodicies, all of these reasons that God would have. You've got to combine it with the doctrine of the afterlife. As John Hicks said, no theodicy without eschatology. That means you can't have a reason why God will permit all the suffering in the world if you don't combine it with a good theory of heaven, where you're getting compensation for some of the bad that happen in life. And it also provides the opportunity for a different kind of soul building that happens in heaven. Okay, let me move on here. Man, there's so many questions, so many comments. Oh, by the way, thank you for all the comments. I appreciate that. And let me see if I can find one real quick. The example that you gave, sorry, I can't follow that dialectic right now. You should have Nick Quiet, I don't know what that is. Why are 5 infinitely, I think this question has to do with consequentialism. Why are 5 infinitely valuable lives automatically more worth than 1 infinitely valuable life? Okay, so I think what you're doing is maybe you're either challenging, sorry, I'm making sure that my phone's not going to fall off here. So maybe you're challenging the idea of the consequentialist. I don't think you're challenging the consequentialist ethic. I think that you're saying that each life is infinitely valuable. So you can't use that sort of plus minus game in order to get the consequences. And so that might be something to look at. I don't really have any strong thoughts on it. I'm not in a shopping mall. I'm in an airport. We're waiting on our flight to leave. How long have we been going? 28 minutes? Okay, cool. So I got plenty of time. Someone is like yelling or grunting over there. What's happening? Maybe there's a game going on. Maybe they're drunk. Probably an atheist, right? Angry, yelling, upset at something. They're probably upset that we're over here live streaming the Apologetics Empire.
Because they obviously are aware of it.
They're very aware of it. Oh yeah, yeah. When it happened and we went live on 9 or however many channels it was, there was a lot of atheists noticed, and I'm glad that you noticed, and especially you if you're watching this, Mr. Atheist. We're coming for you. It's going to be amazing. You're going to love it. Or actually, you're going to hate it. But eventually, you'll love it because you're going to come to Jesus. And that's going to be the greatest part. What is my least favorite argument for God's existence? The argument from... I was going to think of a joke, but I'm not going to do a joke. I've gone on record as saying the traditional moral argument is not one that I'm persuaded by. And I'll caveat that with this. That it's not that I'm unpersuaded of it, it's that I'm sort of agnostic about it. And I think that there's a different version of the moral argument that I like better. That's what I would say on that one. All right, I'm having to skip some of these questions here, so sorry about that. I'm actually just going to start at the bottom. Someone said I need to grow a beard. You can't see this, but I cannot grow a beard. All this empty space here, that's not beard. That's can't do that. Can't do a beard with this. So sorry. I wish I could. My brother can grow a beard. That means he's automatically cooler than me. All right, let me get. I'm looking for questions. Scrolling up here. You had 12 people as part of your empire. Is that a reference to the 12 apostles? No, not at all. It was just the number that sort of came out and that we had. It was very. It was completely coincidental. Why most Christian channels block the comment section? I'm Christian and I don't know why channels do that if we have the truth. I actually don't know of any current Christian apologists who do that. None of us that were at the event over this week did anything like that. So maybe you're thinking of Reasonable Faith. They block the comments on their videos. I think that's a mistake, but they're also not a YouTube necessarily channel. They use YouTube as in order to like put up videos, but they're not like they don't consider themselves a YouTuber or a YouTube focused channel. So that's the reason why they do that. And none of us agree with it, but that's what they chose to do. And we're trying to reach out to them and help them change that. But yeah, if we have the truth, we shouldn't be afraid of the comment section. But also, it just makes sense from an algorithm standpoint. You want more people commenting and watching your stuff. Atheist here, what's your strongest argument for God's existence? My strongest argument, Muhammad, is the argument from contingency. And I talk about that a lot on my channel. Go check out my videos. Go check out my interview with Josh Rasmussen on my podcast. I've had him on my YouTube channel a lot. So instead of rehearsing that whole thing, go listen to those videos and immediately be convinced of God's existence. Alfred, hi Cameron, what is your view on evolution? We already talked about that a little bit earlier. I'm sort of agnostic about evolution, but I do think that the Bible is completely open to old earth interpretations. It doesn't commit us to young earth. This guy SL, it's not something unique to Christians, but I find it most commonly in the more sensationalist, fundagetical channels. I think you're talking about the comments. Well, Reasonable Faith is not fundagetical. I don't know what you mean by that, but they do block it. And the reason why they block it is because there's a lot of atheist trolls on YouTube. So what though? I mean, so I think we're still going live here. I just had, oops, okay. Didn't interrupt the stream at all. Okay. Do you believe a Christian can lose their salvation or not? That's a good question. I lean toward the view that they were either a Christian in the first place or they weren't. And that is a very controversial view and opinion. And I don't have a whole, I don't want to give my opinion about it because I don't want to lead people astray or wrongly. So I'm not going to share really anything more than that. Cats or dogs? Obviously dogs. Dogs are like a million times better than cats. I have zero sympathy or empathy for cats. And that's just a personal thing. Don't get too worked up about it. Right, let's go down here. Where am I right now? I am at the Charleston airport doing a live stream. And Mike Winger is sitting next to me, wondering why he's not as cool as me. That's what he's doing. Do you believe, we already got that question. Love to see how God is using you guys. Awesome to see the gospel being presented on YouTube. Really happy about it too. I think that this is such, I feel so honored to be a part of this. And I almost feel, we got the atheist yelling over here again. I feel so honored to be part of this. And I feel like in a lot of ways, and I think anyone who is in ministry sort of gets the same feeling every now and then, that it's just like, God, why did you choose me to do this? And there's actually a lot of stuff that comes with it that people don't know about. And so you kind of get like, there's a lot of stress involved in doing a ministry like this and being in limelight and people kind of looking up to you. There's a lot of stress that goes along with that you don't really take into account when you're like, oh yeah, I just want to have this really popular YouTube channel and make these really cool videos and refute all these atheists. You don't take into account the other side of things. And anyways, I don't know why I got on a tangent there, but do you know a Christian debater named Darth Dawkins? I haven't heard of him, but I try to stick with people who are philosophers, people who are doing work in the area, or like Mike was on my channel debating, because I have a lot of respect for him personally. And I've watched a lot of the stuff that he does, and I think he's a really good thinker, very careful thinker, very sincere thinker, He's beautiful. I like his skin is very like just his great skin. His glasses are awesome. Uh, he has great shoes and clothes, and his height is a really nice height. He's not too tall, too short. Um, I could go on, but let's. His breath smells. It's not. It doesn't smell minty, but it just smells good. It smells perfect all the time. And I know all this because we bunked together the last few nights, which I was not expecting. I was not expecting that, but it was fun. Okay, I think especially in this day where we rely too much on philosophies and the world intent of the Bible and Christian tradition, of course, philosophy relied too much on it. So I think that when we make comments like this, Marty Moss, I think there's an underlying sentiment that is good, is that we don't want to put too much emphasis on the wrong thing. But when we start to say that philosophy is bad, what we end up doing is doing philosophy. And so if we say that, hey, my philosophy is that philosophy is bad, something just happened. You're like undermining your own case that you just made against philosophy because you're doing philosophy. So you got to be careful, very, very careful, that the comments or claims that you make don't end up shooting themselves in the foot. So I think that philosophy definitely has its place, and that is the philosophy. So anyways, just a side point there. Someone said, don't want to spam here. Don't want to spam. Yeah, if you spam is that troll? I was thinking of something else. Someone said a winger is such a metrosexual. Susan, what are you talking about? Do you know what that word means? I don't think you do. You're using that word, but I don't think it means what you think it means. Someone said Inspired Philosophy with an IE. It's an awesome channel. You should add him to the Empire. You obviously didn't watch the live stream, Troll Master. He was in the live stream. He was literally in the live stream, Troll Master. Bro. Troll Master. Get it together. All right, let me scroll down here to the women in ministry, cool or not? What do the empirologists think on that? Last time I promise. So I'm totally cool with it. There's some passages in the Bible that seem to say that you shouldn't do that, and I think that the people who interpret those passages that way are simply wrong. What is your opinion on that? Is yours different?
I'm complementarian, but I'm trying to reevaluate those views.
Okay. So Mike's saying he's a complementarian, but he's being careful about what he thinks about that. I think that is very, very wise. Be careful about these types of theological issues. It's also important to even be careful about your opinions. Mike and I were talking about this yesterday. You got to be careful to share an opinion of something when it's just your opinion. You haven't really researched it. I feel like that's where I am with this. I did do an interview with a Bible student, and we talked about this question of women in ministry. So check the archive of my videos. Go check it out. Did you see my interview request? Daniel Hull, I did not. Sorry about that. Someone said love IP, but he's wrong on evolution. He's actually wrong on more than evolution. He's wrong on almost everything he says. Like go watch his any of his videos. You'll know what I mean. No, I'm just kidding. IP is he's great, and he's sort of paving a way for a new kind of Christian apologist thinker. I'm not on board with all of his idealist stuff, but part of that is because I haven't done the same research that he's done on quantum mechanics. Excuse me, how all of that works. I don't know where I would be if I studied the same stuff that he studied. One thing that I really appreciate about him is that he looks at evidence and he says, this is the best explanation that I have of this evidence. And he actually goes with that. And a lot of times what happens is we talk about evidence all the time. We talk about, well, this is the best explanation of this. This is the best explanation of this. And what it ends up being is just like this mental exercise you do in your mind, and you don't actually do anything with it. Like you don't use that to update your beliefs. You don't use it to get closer to truth. But with Mike, Inspiring Philosophy, he actually does that. Like that's the rational thing to do, is to say, well, this is the best explanation, so let's do it. And then give me a better explanation if you think that this doesn't indicate what I think it does. And That's one thing that I really admire about him. And it's also one of the things that really works in his debates is he's like, look at all of this evidence. Here's the theory that best explains all of this evidence. And let's talk about it. Let's do it. And what happens in some of his debates is they're not willing to do that. The atheists he engages with are not willing to do the hard work of saying the evidence that you gave doesn't lead to your conclusion because of this. Instead, what they do is, well, I'm just not convinced. Like that doesn't make sense. Or yeah, they just say, I'm not convinced of that. There's another guys, and he's really cool. And that's all I'll say about it. So IP said IP could explain string theory in one sentence. He could. I don't know if it's going to be good sentence and understandable to more than like 5 people. I'm just kidding. He's really good at summarizing. Right, I'm scrolling up here to look at more comments. Someone said he is cool. Who? IP? Come on. What book do you recommend me for starting with apologetics? I bought the book Tactics, but I would like to get a book with a summary of arguments for God. That is a really good question, Troll Master. Bro, your name is like the best name I've ever seen, Troll Master. And it kind of is like, this is a serious question, but it's hard to take it seriously. Good introductory books if you want to get more into apologetics. Read Is There a God by Richard Swinburne. Read On Guard by William Lane Craig. Read The Case for Christ by Lee Strobel. The reason why I picked those 3 is because I asked philosophers what the top 3 books they recommend are for people who are interested in apologetics. And after I got the responses from everybody, I took the top 3 books, and those were the 3. Is There a God by Richard Swinburne, On Guard by William Lane Craig, The Case for Christ by Lee Strobel. So check out those books if you haven't read them. And then from there, there's a lot more that you can get into, but those 3 will give you a good start. Someone said, I for new apologists to become equipped properly to defend the Word of God. So what I would say is stop debating. If you're debating an atheist right now and you're new to apologetics, stop debating. Go read. Take some time to really understand the evidence for Christianity, the evidence for God's existence. Get your basis solid before you go start debating people. Because what happens is these people will try to learn through debating others. And what you get through debating people who haven't read the literature, don't know what they're talking about, their arguments are going to be loosely based on people who actually argue these things properly with good arguments, good, rigorous thinking. And when you debate people and you're trying to learn from people, it's like, I don't want to give an analogy because I can't think of one off the top of my head, but it's a bad idea. You're going to end up defending or believing things, and you don't really know why you believe that or why you're defending that. So go read. That would be the number one thing. Number 2 thing is don't accept an argument for the truth of God's existence or Christianity just because the conclusion says God exists or Christianity is true. Don't accept an argument just because it has a conclusion that you like. So that's one of the reasons why when it comes to the moral argument, the traditional moral argument, I'm not convinced of that one. I'm agnostic about it because I'm just not convinced by it. And that's okay. It's okay to not be convinced by an argument that leads to a conclusion that you already agree with. Now, on the other hand, there's a moral argument that I do agree with, the one from moral knowledge. So the whole point is that you don't have to start believing that this argument is a convincing good argument. You can start by just asking the question yourself, what is this a convincing argument? But don't start with the presupposition you're going into it. And I think you're going to be a lot stronger in the end. That's also a very sincere way of going about it too. Instead of just defending something because it has a conclusion that you like, you're defending something that you honestly believe is true and is a good argument. And that's going to make you a very sincere thinker in the future. People are going to be able to pick up on that. Someone said, it's okay not to be convinced by an argument? What about if you're an unconvinced atheist? What if you're an unconvinced atheist? Yeah, I think it's okay to be unconvinced by an argument that you're not convinced by. I don't see what's wrong with that. I can't tell if you keep missing my interview suggestion. Either way, I've written it so much now that I will stop. It's on the chat for you. Daniel, I literally missed it again. I haven't seen it. There's like a million chats coming through. So if you've been hanging out in the live chat, you should be able to see that there's a lot of comments. So I haven't been able to see all of them. And when I start talking, all the comments start to filter down and I can't see them all. Trinity Radio says, and become focused on apologetics to the exclusion of biblical study and other areas of Christian spiritual development. That is amazing advice. Take that to heart. Don't become too focused on apologetics to the exclusion of biblical study. That was one of the things that Braxton actually failed at. No, this is something that can happen to anybody, any apologist. If you're focused too much on arguments and evidence, you might just completely neglect the person that this is all about. It's about Jesus. It's about having a good relationship with Jesus. Stop it, Mike. I'm trying to talk about serious things here. I'm talking about Jesus and making sure that you're studying your Bible. Someone said, hi, I love your channel. Hi, I love you. Jack is your name. Thank you for watching. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, make sure to do that. Hit the little bell so you get notifications when I go live. I do have a live stream tonight. Once I land in Houston, I'm going to be, thank you. I'm going to be, you heading out? Okay. Yep. Good to see you, man. Yep. Thanks. Don't take my jacket. So Mike is leaving. He's about to board his plane to get out of here. So I completely forgot my train of thought. Sorry about that, guys. Do I have a recommended book on the historical Jesus? Yeah, The Sun Rises by William Lane Craig is one of my favorite books, The Resurrection. As far as the historical Jesus, I don't have a recommended book on that. I know that Gary Habermas has done work on that, so maybe look into Gary. I don't really take mythicism, Jesus mythicism, very seriously, so I'm not going to be the best person to ask about that because I haven't done a whole lot of study. Okay, so I'm just going up here. I'm going to do a couple more questions, and then I'm going to close out this live stream. If you guys have any more questions about the Apologetics Empire, let me know in the comments, and I'll try to get to them as I can. So I did have a super chat here. It says, hey man, much love to you. IP, what do you mean? Mike Winger, 1 Minute Apologist, and Frank Turek. I teach apologetics at my local church, and you all continue to inspire me. Hope to meet you all someday. Hope to meet you too, man. That's awesome that you teach apologetics at your local church. I did that for a couple years, and it was extremely fruitful. It was a really, really good experience. So I appreciate the work that you're doing, and keep it up. Keep doing it. It's really important. Even when you don't feel like you're getting the results that you think you are, even if it's just a few people every week that you're ministering to and helping, that's important. So keep that in mind as you keep going. What is the best book on understanding suffering, not evil, but natural suffering? Thank you. The best book on the problem of evil, in my opinion, is Trent Doherty's book on animal pain. That one is by Palgrave. I think the publishers on that one. It's a little bit on the expensive side, and that's just because that's the way that the publishers set up the book and the price. But it's one of my favorites on the problem of evil. It addresses the problem of natural suffering as well. Where was I educated? I was educated at the School of Hard Knocks. You guys heard that? No. I mainly have read books, and I've engaged atheists on forums for years, but most of the education was through books and lectures, listening to lectures, not just like YouTube debates on Facebook, but little good lectures on YouTube, which you can find if you search for them. They're not usually marketed very well. They're not clickbaity. The titles and thumbnails are usually garbage, so they're not going to be easy to find. But yeah, that's how I sort of built my understanding of apologetics and philosophy, was just by reading books, getting the good books and getting to them, understanding them, reaching out to the authors, and doing more stuff. Am I going to have J. Warner Wallace on my channel? That is a very good question, Joshua. And the reason why it's a good question is because I emailed him literally yesterday to see if he would come on with me and Lydia McGrew on Monday. I'm doing a live stream on Monday about undesigned coincidences, which, by the way, I hate that name. It's the worst name ever for apologetics term. It's almost worse than apologetics because no one understands what you mean by an undesigned coincidence. But I understand that the term was coined by William Paley, and so it goes back beyond Lydia McGrew, Tim McGrew, and all these other Christian apologists now. But anyways, I'm doing an interview with Lydia McGrew on undesigned coincidences on Monday, and I think at 3 p.m. Central. So I'm inviting J. Warner Wallace, if he accepts, if he is available, to come on with the two of us for that stream. And so I'm really excited about possibly making that happen. I don't know if he's going to be available. I don't know if he's going to accept, but pray that he does, pray that he is available. So, but other than that, I do want to have him on for other stuff. I think he's one of the best, absolute best communicators for for Christian apologetics. He's such a good communicator. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. And I really appreciate you guys joining me. I have a few things to do to finish up here, but I appreciate you guys hanging out with me for this time at this Charleston airport. It was a really fun little live stream. I really enjoyed it. So appreciate you guys hanging out, checking it out, and be on the lookout for more videos as we all start to collaborate more, do more work together. So appreciate it. Love you guys. Appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you guys later.